3:17 a.m., your eyes burn, your room is silent, and somehow you are still scrolling. Not because you are entertained, because you are trying not to think. That's the terrifying thing about nights like this. People think insomnia is the inability to sleep. Sometimes it's the inability to escape yourself. So you keep moving your thumb, video after video, thought after thought, hour after hour, until suddenly you look at the clock and feel that familiar wave of disappointment crash into your chest. What am I doing with my life? And the scariest part, this isn't even unusual anymore. This became your routine. There's a man somewhere right now, laying in darkness with his brightness turned all the way down so nobody notices he's awake again. He keeps switching between apps every few seconds. Not because he cares what he's watching, because if he stops scrolling, reality catches up. And maybe you know exactly what that feels like. That strange emptiness where your body is exhausted, but your mind refuses to rest. Because nighttime removes the performance. During the day, you can pretend you are fine, you are busy, you are working on yourself, you still have time. But at night, the truth gets louder. You start thinking how fast life is moving, friends changing, parents aging, dreams fading quietly in the background while you remain stuck inside the same habits that promised comfort but delivered emptiness instead. And maybe the reason 3 a.m. hurts so much is because your potential is finally alone in the room with you. There's an old story about Roman soldiers marching through freezing winters with bleeding feet. One soldier asked his commander, "When does this become usual?" The commander answered, "When your mind stops negotiating with discomfort." That line explains almost everything about modern suffering. Most people are not destroyed by pain. They are destroyed by negotiation. 5 more minutes, 1 more video, tomorrow instead, next week instead. Life slowly disappears through teen negotiations repeated daily. That's why some people wake up at 55 feeling emotionally lost. Not because one tragedy ruined them, because comfort quietly erases their age over time. Comfort destroys dreams silently, and modern life is engineered to keep you comfortably distracted forever. Your phone is not competing for your attention anymore. It's competing for your life. Psychologists discovered something disturbing years ago. Human beings experience dopamine spikes stronger from anticipation than reward itself. Meaning, your brain becomes addicted to searching, not satisfaction. That's why scrolling never fulfills you. It traps you in endless emotional hunger. Refresh, swipe, search, always looking for something you cannot find on a screen. Peace. There's a moment that happens during certain nights that almost nobody talks about. You accidentally open old photos, and suddenly you are staring at a vision of yourself that still believed life was about to begin. That vision of you had plans, energy, hope, fire, and for a second, it feels like you are looking at a stranger. That moment destroys people quietly because you realize time did not stop while you were overthinking your life. It kept moving. Some people lose years, one night at a time. There's another person somewhere right now, sitting at the edge of their bed, replaying conversations from years ago, thinking about mistakes, embarrassment, regret, as if suffering hard enough mentally might somehow change the past. But overthinking is not healing. Most of the time, it's self-destruction disguised as reflection. And intelligent people suffer from this deeply. Because intelligent minds can create endless psychological mazes. You analyze your fears instead of confronting them. Analyze your habits instead of changing them. Analyze your future instead of building it. Meanwhile, life keeps moving without mercy. There's a reason ancient monks feared comfort more than suffering. Because suffering forces awareness. Comfort creates sleepwalking. And many people are sleepwalking through their own existence now. Wake up tired, consume distractions, delay important things, repeat, until eventually they stop recognizing themselves emotionally. That's the real danger of repetitive nights. The cycle slowly becomes identity. You stop saying, "I'm struggling," and start saying, "Maybe this is just who I am." That sentence ruins lives because identity shapes behavior more than motivation ever will. There is a former survivor who once said, "The human spirit can survive almost anything except a meaningless existence." That line haunted me Because maybe that's what people are really feeling at night. Not just sadness, disconnection from purpose, from discipline, from themselves. You cannot heal inside the habits destroying you. At some point, you must become honest. Honest about what's draining you. Honest about what you keep avoiding. Honest about how many nights you sacrificed to distraction while calling it coping. Because eventually, the distractions stop numbing the pain, and all that remains in the terrifying realization that your future is being built but what you repeatedly do in private, especially at night. That's why the nights matter so much. Nobody sees them, nobody applauds them, but your habits are forming there. Your identity is forming there. The strongest vision of yourself is either being built quietly or abandoned quietly. There's a moment before sunrise where the world becomes unnatural silent. No messages, no noise, no stimulation, just you sitting in the consequences of your routines. And sometimes that silence changes people forever, because for the first time they stop blaming life, stop blaming motivation, stop blaming fear, stop blaming timing, and finally ask themselves, how much longer am I going to keep betraying my own future? That question changes everything, because real transformation rarely begins with inspiration. It begins with exhaustion from your own repetition. And maybe tonight is not another failure. Maybe tonight is the night you finally become too aware to continue living this way. Maybe tonight is where the cycle ends, not dramatically, quietly. You put the phone down, you sit in the silence, you face yourself honestly, and for the first time in years, you stop escaping your life long enough to finally start rebuilding it. Welcome to Fearless Movement.